Hey everyone, coming back at you today with some more TTMs. We're catching up from the summer and early fall here, so we're going to get right to it. And we're going to start with Mr. Rick Manning. Mr. Manning played for the Indians and the Brewers. In 1976, he won a Gold Glove. And in 2017, Mr. Manning was inducted into the Greater Cleveland Sports Hall of Fame. In 1990, he started as part of the Indians broadcast crew as a color commentator, and he's still there today. Playing-wise, most notably, he's known for catching the last out of Len Barker's 1981 perfect game. That's Mr. Rick Manning. Next up, we have Mr. Wally Dallenbach Jr. He was a journeyman driver, best known for his time with Roush Racing in the number 16 Keystone car there. He worked for TNT alongside Kyle Petty for racing when TNT had NASCAR, and did a little segment called Wally's World on there where he took a celebrity and drove them around the track. And he also did a little bit of IndyCar racing before he came over to NASCAR. And Mr. Dallenbach was a great signer, signed 5 cards. Was only the second person after Richard Petty to drive that famed number 43. They didn't last the full season. It's very unfortunate. Wally was a really good road course racer. And I got those back in 25 days. Next up, jumping back to baseball here, we got Mr. Don Robinson. Played for the Pirates, Giants, Angels, and Phillies. Had the nickname the Caveman. He was a 1979 World Series champ. He was a 3-time Silver Slugger in 82, 89, and 90. Was regarded as one of the best hitting pitchers of all time. And he also gave up Mike Schmidt's 500th home run. So that's Mr. Don Robinson, and that was in 11 days. Next up, we got a Hall of Famer, Mr. Mike Modano. He played for the Stars and Red Wings. So as a Leafs fan, not a real fan of the Red Wings, but that's okay. I enjoy hockey no matter what. And surprisingly, when Modano first came into the league, I was not a big Mike Modano fan either, but he grew on me. He was the number 1 overall pick in 1988. He won the Stanley Cup in 1999. He's the all-time leading goal scorer and point leader for an American-born player, and is a Hall of Famer, like I said, in 2014. In 2017, he was named one of the 100 greatest NHL players. So again, no doubt, Mike Modano, one of the greatest American-born hockey players of all time. And that was in 127 days. Next up, we have Garrett Smithley. Again, this is some of those photos from pre-Daytona, going back to the 90s style where they took those pictures with their cars like this before the race. Glad they did that again. But Mr. Smithley here drove for MBM Motorsports and Rick Ware Racing this year. Mainly Rick Ware. The MBM was just Daytona. Unfortunately, he didn't qualify for Daytona, but has raced quite a bit for Rick Ware Racing this year. And the big thing for Garrett Smithley, for myself, is he was in Boy Scouts, and I started Boy Scouts in 2nd grade. because that's when you could join back then as a Cub Scout, and still haven't left. Still involved to this day. So finding out that Mr. Smithley was in Scouts was pretty cool. And that was in 18 days. Next up, we have Mr. Eddie Cheever. Eddie Cheever drove in Formula One, sports cars, Indy cars, and he has the most starts ever by an American in Formula One, which I was really surprised to find out. And Mr. Cheever is also the 1998 Indianapolis 500 winner. And those came back in 42 days. Next up, we'll stick with that racing feel. Go with Mike Joy. Mike Joy is the lead announcer on Fox. Mr. Joy has also called, along with NASCAR, Formula One, IndyCar, college football, the Winter Olympics, pro beach volleyball, skiing, and lots of other NCAA championships in things like swimming and that type of stuff. And Mr. Joy is also an avid antique collector, does a lot of work for Barrett Jackson. If you've ever watched any of that, he's on there quite often. And he has raced some on his own, some sports car stuff. And in 2012, I believe it was, actually won a race at, I think it was Laguna Seca. Don't quote me on that. Just trying to go off memory there. But Mike Joy, for me, is the voice of NASCAR. Grew up, loving NASCAR, and he was the guy that was always on. I believe it was him and Darrell Waltrip and Larry McReynolds were together for 15 years in the booth, which I think was the longest three-person booth in any sport. So that's pretty cool. So Matt DiBenedetto here in this picture, I will get that off to him. I am a big Matt DiBenedetto fan. I think he's got an awesome personality. He's talented. Hopefully he gets a ride for next year. And I got Mr. Mike Joy back in 14 days. Next up, and I'm very excited for this one, Mike Doc Emrick. Mike Emrick is a retired play-by-play announcer for the NHL on NBC. In 2004, he won the Les Patrick Award. In 2008, he received the Foster Hewitt Memorial Award. He's won 9 Emmy Awards. He's in the U.S. Hockey Hall of Fame. Got that honor in 2011. He's the only member of the media in U.S. Hockey Hall of Fame. In 2017, he was named the Sportscaster of the Year for Sports Illustrated. And move that one back there a little bit. For me, Doc Emrick always made time to come to Hershey when the Hershey Bears did their Hall of Fame. And I just thought that was awesome. So I got to see Doc Emrick live many times there. Never missed going to that game. And the other big thing with Doc Emrick is he's a big Pittsburgh Pirates fan. So we got that in common. And Doc will hold a special place in every Hershey Bears fan's heart, just for all he's done for our team here. And Doc Emrick got back in 24 days. So again, I thank you for watching. As always, do like and subscribe, and stay safe.